I have to tell you that I opened my day this morning to watch this movie. It was hard. It was hard. So anyway, I'm going to let you guys do a self-introduction because there's 3 of you here, and if I talk that long, it'll get really boring. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself and tell us about yourselves.
Hi, I'm Nicholas Mihm. I'm the director of In the Dark of the Valley and editor of In the Dark of the Valley.
And I'm Derek Smith. I was one of the 3 producers on In the Dark of the Valley.
And I'm Brandon Smith, Derek's brother, also one of the producers on the film.
Well, and I got to tell you that your folks did a great job of giving you some strong names, because I mean you sound like filmmakers. I mean seriously.
Just the basic Derek Smith, Brandon Smith.
Yeah.
You hear that, Mom and Dad? Thanks, guys. Thanks for the creativity.
I mean Sullivan. I like it. So,
All right, we'll take it. Thanks.
Nick, can you tell our audience a little bit, without giving too much away, give a little bit about your film?
Sure. Our movie is In the Dark of the Valley. It follows a group of mothers in Southern California who discover that there is a nuclear site and rocket testing site just mere miles from their house, from their homes in the valley, and it could have been the cause for very rare cancers that were found around this site. And so the movie follows one of our moms, Melissa Bumstead, who is this brave woman who is fighting for a cleanup of the Santa Susana Field Lab outside of Los Angeles.
She was beyond inspiring. Oh my goodness, the strength of that woman. So how did you come across this film?
I'll let you take that one.
Yeah, as Nick was saying earlier, we were commissioned by Change.org back in, was it 2018? And the deal was to do a 2-minute video, petition video, to help clean up the site, to help get the site cleaned up. And when we started talking to people, we found out that like there's no way to tell that story in 2 minutes, so we asked if we could do it like a 5-minute video, 5 to 6 minute video. And even still, we got to the end and we're like, there's so much information that we, for one, have that we weren't able to fit in the 5 minutes, and 2, that we just need to figure out and uncover. And so I guess from that point on, we dove into it and started doing the feature.
And this is like the exact story that I had a conversation with another person that was making a 4-minute video that ended up being a feature film as well. So I guess that's not the most uncommon thing when you're unearthing something that you have no idea what you're going to come across.
Absolutely.
I was just going to say, it was almost after the fact. It was like, I wasn't around for the production of that 2 to 4 minute video, but it was afterwards. We were meeting, it was at a coffee shop in Hermosa Beach, and we all sat down and we were like, wait, should we do the feature on this one? Should we actually, go
so
through
really
with it?
The decision to do that came after you had collected. So again, because most of the people watching probably don't know anything about films like I do, to me that's like a shocking thing, because it seems to me if I'm collecting information for 4 minutes versus a feature film, that looks totally different. But it sounds like when you go to collect the information, you're just gathering everything you can get your hands on regardless.
Yeah, we were to a certain extent, but I think, we did know that it was supposed to be a 4 to 5 minute piece, so we only wanted the basic information. We wanted
Keep it simple.
to keep it simple and get the point across. And then, we did speak to these people again after the Change.org video. We did more interviews with the main subjects from that piece, and so that's when we dove into deeper.
It's just impossible, It's just impossible
Yeah,
to fit
yeah.
all that contextual information about the nuclear meltdown, the partial meltdown that happened, the rocket testing and all the contamination on the hill. It's impossible to do that in a little film.
Well,
in a short film.
and
So-
after watching the film, that becomes evident. But
Yeah.
again, that's hindsight being 20/20. I'm just impossible to put myself in your shoes, being faced with that challenge in, well, obviously doing the feature film.
It was pretty
worked out.
terrifying. Yeah, it was terrifying because this is all our first film, and we have a little bit of experience in documentary film, but just short stuff, So tackling this was extremely terrifying, and I know I speak for all 3 of us. Like we're learning on the fly, and we're still learning even today. Like how, we were having calls this morning about archival footage in the film that.
So when and that's fascinating. Tell me about an instance or two that maybe it was better off not knowing what you were exactly getting into.
Wait, say that again.
Well, I think sometimes when you're taking on a project that's bigger or a thing that's bigger than what you're accustomed to doing, and then you say yes to doing it before you know what you're going to get into, and then after you're done, you find out, well, I made it over these huge hurdles that I didn't even know that I was going to incur, and yet we did it without the experience behind us.
I mean, we had a lot of help along the way. A lot of investigators and reporters that had looked into it in the years past. They were sort of helping hands throughout the process and giving us, certain documents and contacts sort of under the table. I think one of the biggest things for us, and you may have mentioned this already, was we had planned to wrap in 2018. And then, without giving too much away, I guess, the Woolsey fire happened. And it happened on site, on the site that we're referring to in the documentary. And so when that happened, we were like, oh, we can't finish in 2018.
The saga continues.
There's more. Yeah.
Yes.
So that, in a sense, it was a hurdle. And I would never refer to it as like a blessing in disguise, because, it was a harmful natural disaster, but in terms of the movie, it opened up doors and certain avenues that sort of revealed other information and other contacts. And I think that was, in the moment, it was an obstacle, it was a hurdle, but after the fact, it was like, had that not happened, we wouldn't have revealed certain things. So.
Well, and I have to assume you had a lot of folks that were very willing and wanting to provide whatever information needed because it was to everybody's benefit to do so.
Yes and no. I mean, there are certain parties in the community that don't want the site cleaned up because, if you are cleaning up the site, then you have to move dirt, and that, that does hurt certain parts of the environment. So we understand that completely. And so they are trying to stop the full cleanup of the Santa Susana Field Lab, and everyone's got their own, personal reason why they want something done, and we tried to get as many voices in the movie as possible. Not everyone wanted to talk to us, so that was a hurdle. Boeing, who is part owner of the site, NASA, Department of Energy, they didn't want to talk to us, but we wanted to talk to them. Sure. So those were hurdles. Those were things that we were learning on the fly, like how do we approach these pretty intimidating government and private and corporate entities and get them to talk to us, but.
And they all probably already had their radar up and had their defenses up because there had already been efforts.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, I think the three of us approaching NASA and Boeing, the DOE, they didn't feel too threatened.
We're nobody.
We just asked nicely. We would have loved for them to have talked, get their side of the story, but we understand why they didn't. But yeah, I don't think they were too threatened by these first-time feature filmmakers.
Well, maybe moving forward they might ought to be. So,
Yeah, I think that was the goal going into this project, was if we could get enough people talking about trying to get this site cleaned up, then we would be successful. And I mean, whether that happens or not, who knows? But
and yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no.
And talking to other reporters that have covered this story for decades and other investigators, they've talked about how Boeing is it's hard to get a comment from them because and these are the words of these reporters. It's probably easier to kind of sweep it under the rug than actually face it, head on. So, that could have been their tactics. If we just kind of ignore it, then, the film never happened. So, right. But hopefully, the message of these families gets out there, and we can bring it out of obscurity.
Make a difference.
Yeah.
Make a difference. That's what we want to do. So what has the impact of the film been so far that you all have observed?
It's been pretty, I think, just because we did the festival circuit, we're currently on it, it's been pretty intimate to that, sort of scope. But, Nick, you want to take this next part? Today, it went public that, it's going to come out on a grander scale.
Yeah, so we are officially able to announce that the film will be airing in November on MSNBC, which is an amazing opportunity for the community and the moms.
I think that congratulations are in order.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Well done, well done.
Thank you.
and well deserved. Well, that's huge. That is a huge thing. So,
Well, I was just going to say it's a great, like probably the perfect platform for this movement. I think those are like the kinds of people who watch those channels and shows and everything are the types of people who will or would be willing to jump in and help make a difference. And I think that was our goal. So we're thrilled, stoked, super excited.
The right place at the right time and the right people to do it. So are you full-time pushing this movie now? Do you have another project moving forward, or is this filling your time?
This is filling our time for the most part, yeah.
And I don't take that as I'm not diminishing the efforts you're putting forth. But again, we have no, those of us out here, out of the film world, we have no idea how these things work.
I think, like Nick was saying before, is we're very green in this department. It's the first time for us, and so I think when we all set out on this, we were like, yeah, we'll finish the movie, submit to festivals, and we'll be good. We'll be done. Someone will pick it up. But then we realized that there's more for us to do, more work for us to do. And like he said, we have to make certain changes to accommodate MSNBC and the broadcast and things like that. So it's almost to this point, it's been sort of nonstop.
Do you have to pull the movie from any of the film festivals, or is it once they're in, they're good?
Yeah, we're good right now. We stopped submitting after November 14th is the air date, so we're not going to screen anymore after that.
Well, our air date, if I can see here, is we're showing this film on Friday, tomorrow at 5 o'clock, so you can come and see it in person. But of course, you can stream it online, and I really encourage you to do so. I think that you'll walk away from this film like I did, saying, how can this happen? I mean, that was my thing. How could this happen? So thank you for bringing this to light. Congratulations, huge congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Best of luck moving forward, and hopefully we'll see you back here at the film festival again.
Absolutely.
Thanks
If you
for
guys
having
have
us.
us, yeah, this is great.
It's really fun.
Love it.
Yeah, thank you.
We love having you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.